I will share my screen. So now we are going to advanced tenses. In the previous lesson, I think we've done something like the basic tenses. Now we are going a bit advanced. This is trickier than the ones you've done before. Yeah. Mastery of like English tenses and structure. So in this lesson, you should be able to identify the present simple, present past simple. All those ones are the basic. Yeah, you should have already have that knowledge. But if you don't, like if you still find it a bit difficult, because you know that in TPAT we always make sure that we don't leave anyone behind. Yeah, you can always send me a message on the chat box. I'll be glad to receive it. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to learn to isolate and identify the correct grammatical tense instantly using the subtle embedded sentence timeline indicators and adverbial markers to systematic reason mastery, fully understand the underlying structural rules and grammatical laws governing why a particular tense acts as if as the sole logical solution. The third one is to perfect structural execution, confidently apply tricky conditional forms, perfect passive modals, and correlative pairs directly within high pressure examination environments, trap avoidance, deconstruct common UTME distractors such as have been, past, timeline clashes to secure absolute point precision. Okay, if you have any question, please kindly drop it on the chat box. If you can hear me correctly, if you can hear me clearly, kindly show a reaction as we proceed. Okay, so in the beginning, we're going to start with the present perfect tense. But before we move that, I'd like to remind you about what a present simple is about. Present simple is something that happens now from the word present, something that happens now, like is still in present, is still now. Yeah, it comes in three dimensions. It can be present tense, it can be present simple, it can be present continuous, or the present continuous or the present perfect. So for present simple is something that happened repeatedly in form of your habits, your daily routine, and all that. For example, every day I eat breakfast. Y- Yes, I usually drink coffee at early in the morning. I usually drink coffee early in the morning. At night, I eat dinner. So you see that I'm using the present simple. I'm using the present to talk about all this because it's something that happens repeatedly. It has already become an habit for me. Sometimes it can be a fact, something that is true. For example, the sun rises in the east. So you always pay attention to your verb. Your subject and the verb must agree. Definitely, it must agree. If you are using the present simple, you should use the appropriate verb for that. I think we are running out of time. I'm going to add more time to it. Possibly we are going to rejoin the session so that we can maximize our time. Okay, so for present continuous is something that is happening at the point of the time when you're speaking. For example, I've taken on a novel now. I've started reading a novel. I've not completed reading it. So I will tell you that I am reading a novel now. I'm reading a novel on accolades. Yeah, because I'm still doing that thing. It has not ended. Something that is in progress. That's what you use present continuous for. But for this lesson, I want to talk about the present perfect. The present perfect tense. This is the one that explains something that happened in the past, but you can still see the consequence now. The structure of it is the subject. Subject could be he, she, it, Ade, Tolu, they, the banks. Have or as. Have goes for what? Plural subject. As goes for what? Singular subject. But the what? The participle, past participle, they call it verb 3. Yeah, in more advanced way, they call it verb 3. The past participle of eat is what? Eating. Jump, jumped. Eat, eating, that is what? That is irregular verb. Jump, jump, that is regular verb. So, you should know the V3 is what? Whenever you are saying V3 in all these lessons, yeah, it means the participle. There's no tricky or anything funny or anything difficult for you there. Okay. So we talk about, yeah, action starting in the past that continues smoothly up to the present. For example, I have visited many sceneries in Lagos. So it's still reflecting now. Yeah, I can still proudly say I've visited. I have visited. Yeah, you can still see the action now. Yeah, I've been to a lot of large areas in the world or large cities in the world. I have been to. The trigger words heavily associated with temporary adverbs like since and for. Yeah, sometimes you can be presented with some trigger words like since, for. You should know that they always go in line with what? Present perfect. So why do we use this tense? We use this tense because the action is unfinished or its direct consequences continue to interact with the present movement. It acts as a liberal bridge connecting past historical milestone with the current outcome. Examiners exploit this connection to confuse candidates into picking the simple past. Remember, if the scenario activities matters now, the tense must stay perfect. Yeah. If the activity is still related to this time, the tense must stay perfect. And I told you to construct a present perfect. You have the subject, have or has plus the verb theory. The verb theory is what? The past participle. If you understand, kindly click on the reaction icon. If you don't, please drop your message. Yeah, drop your question on the chat box. If you want us to proceed, you could show a reaction as well. Can we proceed? Okay, I think there's a question. Okay. Someone said I should state the example again of present perfect. Yeah, I said present perfect is something that happened in the past, but you can still see the consequence now. Okay, look at a scenario now coming. Okay, look at this. This is an example. We all we are all hungry. We haven't had anything to eat since morning. Although this is a negative sentence, but it's still present perfect. With haven't had. The structure is, let me show you. Let me try to, I will drop the structure, the example structure on the chat box. Okay. She hasn't, she, okay, let me make it positive. She, she has, she is singular. So that will go with singular verbs. So she has seen or she has eaten a breakfast. This is a bit easier. She has eaten a breakfast. So, she has eaten a breakfast. As is what? Yeah, she has. She will go with has. You cannot say she have. Plus the verb three. This is the verb three, eating, our breakfast. So this is present, a typical what? Present perfect. Yeah. It happened in the past, but it still have consequence. We are still saying it that she has eaten her breakfast. Yeah. So this is, yeah. She has visited. E, no, you can use they. Let's use they now. They have visited the Elfie, yeah, Elfie Tower. Yeah. They have visited the Elfie Tower. So whenever you want to make a present perfect, so you should have the subject. The subject could be she, that would attract us. She, he, let me type it here. She, he, he, it, us. Oh, sorry, not have, at, us. They, we, you, you have. Yeah. So that's for the positive. So you can also say it on the other hand that they haven't visited the Elfi Tower. So just have it on the back of your head that you have the subject plus have or as, depending on the subject, plus verb theory. Verb theory is the participle. That's the past participle. Yeah, sometimes we can have verbs in the regular verbs. Regular verbs are the ones where that you add ed to them. They don't change their form. You just have to have ed to them to make their past and past participle. But for irregular so yeah, for irregular verbs, they're the ones that change their form. For example, you have go, went, gone. So it's important you understand all the participles of verbs if you don't know them, because I don't assume all my students know. Some people don't really have finding English interesting. Yeah, you can check books. You can even chat me up on the WhatsApp group. Yeah, I believe our WhatsApp group is not lively. Yeah, please, well, you can ask question on the group. Let's make it more educative. Yeah, because we have an exam that is already fast approaching. So can we continue? Do you understand? Or you still have any question? Okay, someone said I should state the difference between present continuous and the